first impression of Mr. Tulner was back in grade 10. I wanted to do independent reading before the semester began, but I was kind of like scared to approach him because he seemed like kind of like a tough teacher who was like not as approachable.
Well, I was first introduced to Tulner when I was in grade 9, but like I knew about him before that from my siblings and them talking about how great he was. But when I entered his class, my first impression was I was nervous. He was kind of a different character.
I thought he was tall and scary.
The first time I actually like talked to him as a student and not as my big sister's little sister was when I asked if I was gonna go for a book talk, right? And he did that thing where like, I'm pretty sure he was shorter back then. He's like super tall, right? So he did that thing and he leaned down, and then I guess at that moment I thought like, oh my god, this is no. It was basically, I guess to put in one word, he was intimidating. And he looked like he could kill me in like 10 different ways.
The first time I met Tulner was when I was still in junior high when I was with my sister. And my first thought was, he looks like he could kill me. But then when I walked into his classroom, my first thought was that I'm probably gonna have a fun time in this class just because he just had this overwhelming kind of presence about him that made it seem like we're gonna make this count, and if it doesn't, that's your fault.
I thought he was crazy when I walked in, but because when you come in on your first day of class, you're all motivational and you want to do good. So then when he gave his little lecture about how hard the class would be, kind of just gave up at first. So yes, Mr. Tulner, I thought you were crazy, but it got better from then.
My first impression of Tulner was made way before we even started the class, when we heard rumors that he was going to kick someone out of the class and that he wouldn't let his class be that big. And then when we walked into class, he just sat in the corner staring at all of us as we sat down. And then the first few days were really weird. He just kind of talked in a rumbly voice. He was really scary, and he was really intimidating. I was really scared of him for the first 4 days, until I realized that he really wasn't much of anything. He just liked to talk. He liked to scare us a little. That was mostly what it was.
I think it was before a lot of people. It was in grade 9 when we had soccer tryouts. I went to his room to go sign up, and I was really scared because he seemed super intense. I went to tell him what my position was, which is like sweeper, and he told me that I can't be a sweeper because I'm so short, and I hurt my feelings, honestly, but it was fine. It just made me want to do that much better at tryouts.
Definitely intimidating, you know, that power stance and how he like hangs off the door hinge.
My first impression of him was that just some big hulking guy who's just willing to kill anyone at any moment. Yeah.
My first impression of Tulner, when I was going into his class, my sister kind of told me a few things. She said he'll seem really scary at first, but he's a gentle giant. So I went in and I looked at him and I was like, there's no way he's a gentle giant.
When you enter his room for the first time, it's that presence. You know that there's going to be something different in the room from any other teacher that you normally come into, right? So I guess my first impression was he was different.
I met him in the book library where there are books. I was scared of him because I saw him and then I was like, he seems nice, but then he was tall and I was so scared of him.
The first time I heard of Tulner was through stories from my brother and sister. So when I came into his class and I first saw him, I just saw him as this legendary teacher that has helped my brother and my sister through high school, and it's finally my turn.
Seemed like an intense kind of guy, yeah?
Intimidating.
I thought he was this mind reader and this really, really scary person that everyone admired.
I heard a lot about him from older generations of AP kids, and a lot from people who had brothers and sisters like Jedri and whatnot, about how good Tulner is. I remembered in grade 9, Dan was like, oh, Miss Corvina will tear you down, but Mr. Tulner will build you up. So I had that, oh, this guy must be this guy is the real deal of a teacher.
I first saw you in grade 10, and I thought you were really scary. You intimidated me with your height, and I was just like, okay.
I always thought he wanted to scare us, so I was like, I'm not gonna let this guy scare me. But then I realized that's Tulner, you know, he's He's trying to show you how the real world is. Not everyone is nice and fluffy. Yeah, I'm like, oh, who's he trying to scare? Like, we ain't gonna be scared.
Basically, I was scared, super scared, because I was really, I really wanted to make a good first impression. Yeah, I was just really scared of him. He was really tall, he had this aura that was emitting from him, was like super, he felt really dangerous. You could just feel that from him. But also, you could tell he was really calm and really together.
My first impression of Tulner was probably during the first week of school when Philip brought us to his class, and I had no idea who this guy was, but I knew from the moment I met him that he was going to be someone special. He was going to be someone that was going to teach us a lot, and he was just flat out scary.
The first time I saw Mr. Tulner was in grade 11 when I first started the AP program, and I went to see him because I needed the Wuthering Heights book to read over the summer, and I was amazed by his height.
As we began to get to know him throughout the years, we noticed that he actually has like a soft and caring side, you know, like through our poetry slams and through the meaningful talks that we had in class in grade 11. Since then, I learned that not to be scared of him because he's actually a softie. That he's actually like almost like a father figure because he's really caring. He'll listen to you whenever you need help with anything, and he's just really understanding. And then I feel like he's one of the teachers that I was able to get close to at Sisler, and hopefully that won't change as we both separate from high school. I don't know.
He's not that scary anymore, but he's still tall. Although I thought he was like a really intimidating teacher, now I know that he's not. That he's actually really welcoming and you can talk to him about anything and everything.
But like the only part that changed is that I don't think he's intimidating anymore. It's just I'm pretty sure he can still kill me in 10 different ways, but that's basically it. I guess, I don't know, like at the beginning I was like too afraid to like talk to him or look him in the eye. Like if I felt like if I looked him in the eye he was like examining me, I guess. But then I guess now maybe he still is, but it's not as scary anymore. Maybe I've changed, you know, like I'm not as like closed up as it was compared to grade 10, I guess.
I don't think it has changed since then. In terms of the second opinion, I still think he could kill me, and I think that his class was the funnest I've ever been in.
You're still crazy, I think, but I started to understand, and yes, you're father-like, you teach us, and you've influenced us a lot, so thank you for doing that.
4 days after we started that class, we really started to realize who he was in actuality, and that he wasn't really as scary as he thought he was going to be for us, and he just tried to influence us in that way.
I love Mr. Tulner. I get that he's intense, that's just how he is, but as a coach, he's been really constructive. Like, he gives you constructive criticism to stuff to work on, but then he also rewards you and stuff, you know? And then even as a teacher, he just wants you to do good. He wants you to push you and stuff. Yeah, I love Mr. Tulner. He's like a dad.
It hasn't. No, it really hasn't.
It's still a big hulking guy who's willing to kill anyone, but with a good heart.
Oh, completely. I mean, he's a gentle giant. He's orange, big, and fluffy.
Having him as a teacher for 2 years, your perspective changes, and for the better, because you find out that he's a great teacher and that he only means the best. At first you think that he's really scary, but afterwards you find out that he just means the best, and in the end he's just a great teacher that really cared for his class and what his passion is.
I feel I've known him now for enough time that I know that he's really nice and you don't need to be scared. His body, how he's tall and everything doesn't matter. His heart matters more, so.
I still think of him as a good mentor, kind of like the way that I thought of him when my brother and sister told me about him, but I feel like now he's more of a friend. I know him more personally, and I know I can talk to him, or the little personality of him, not just what he can do and stuff.
Well, he's still an intense kind of guy, but he's definitely got a soft side to him that you don't really see until you've been in his class for a little while.
He's still tall and just more friendly, I guess. Still intimidating sometimes, but friendly.
I don't think it changed. It's still pretty much the same.
I didn't really spend a lot of time with Mr. Tulner, but in that one semester I had with him, I did see why everyone would say like, oh, he's such a great teacher and like a really good mentor. But I did see a lot more of the man behind the myth, and yeah, I just sort of saw someone that was just a caring guy who just liked to be around like kids, because he himself is like a child at heart and whatnot. And then, yeah.
You've turned out to be a dorky old man. Yeah.
Well, like I said, like it's just Tulner preparing us for the real world. You know, he really cares about us. He always asks, like if he sees that you're down or something, he'll always ask. You know, he'll ask, "Oh, everything all right?" It's happened to me. It's happened to other people. I've noticed it. So that really, guy has a heart.
He's still dangerous, but he's still, like, nowadays I'm not as scared, or not scared at all, because I know who he is as a person, and I know that I don't have to be afraid of him or be afraid of just messing up. Because I think the thing that, well, like, I still feel like I don't want to mess up in front of him, but at the same time it's like I know I don't have to be as scared or feel like he's judging me, because I know he's very nice and he's not that kind of person.
It's changed tremendously since then, honestly. Before I saw him as a scary figure, and now he's very welcoming, very heartwarming, and he's almost like a father figure to all of us.
Ever since then, I have gotten to know more and more of him, and I have learned that he's an amazing human being. He's always ready to help whenever you need it, and he listens to you carefully and patiently while you talk to him. He's always there to answer all your questions, and believe me, I have a lot of questions when it comes to projects and assignments. Even though sometimes they might be annoying, but he's always there to help and answer all of them.
To just take time to pause. This is one of his famous quotes that he always used to tell us. I feel like it's very special to our class specifically, because as a generation, we tend to kind of just do things really quickly because we're really busy with things, and we just always have lots of things going on, and sometimes we forget to take that time to pause and truly value what we're doing and truly value the experience. So I think that's one of the most meaningful things I've learned from him, and I think I'm going to carry that on with me as I embark on my post-secondary studies.
Whenever you do anything, to do it with passion and in depth, but as concise as possible, as I would say from writing many essays for him. Just make sure you're yourself, and whenever you're doing anything, just do the best you can be at it. And power. He will get that power.
Other than learning how to use a comma properly, that a number doesn't define who you are as a person, and that there are other important things in life that do.
I guess that everything means something.
I think one of the most important things I've learned in life was either the thing he always says about love, you will fall in love more than once. If you're going to run with the wolves, you better run.
I think you taught us how to survive. There was all your assignments, and yes, they were hard, yes, some were easy, but through it all, you taught us to get back up and just keep moving and running with the wolves.
It's sort of all-encompassing of everything he really told us. What languages and how to speak to people, or just use language and to speak to someone, and to think deeper than just the surface. What he taught us, although it wasn't really, most of it wasn't directly towards this, eventually it all built up to me being able to come up with my own ideas and concepts of how I want to live and what I want to do. in terms of like everyday life, not in terms of career or anything like that. But he really like taught me how to become more of a person instead of more just like a little kid that I was before his class. It made me mature a lot more faster, and it made me into who I am.
Don't start writing your essay 2 days before it's due. And just, work hard. Do what you can.
2 things. If you really, really want something, you have to be ready to run with the wolves. No matter how fast they're going, even if you're getting dragged along, you just have to run with the wolves. And you have to chase after the dreams you want, right? I think everyone learned that in his class. And second, because he's so intimidating, he makes you feel really small, but definitely not compared to him. He makes you seem really, really small compared to all your surroundings, which makes you kind of just, explore everything and see what he was able to see.
One of the things that stuck with me the most through his class was that he said, the one way to be happy with your life is to just surround yourself with people who love you and who you love.
Well, besides all the papers that I wrote, I think that, writing, is one of them, definitely. But also some life lessons. He's told us multiple stories about his past and how to take chances and not to mess things up quite early in life. And I think that's one of the key things that I took out from his class.
It was the value of, I guess, in a way, family. Because with Tulner, it was always, your class was always close-knit and it was always together. And I guess you learn to value the whole, whenever we would play those games and whenever we have those challenges, you learn to value community and value family in a way, because with all the challenges we played and all the things and all the events we went to together as a class, you learn to value one another and each person for whoever they are, right? And Tulner created that, I guess, connection between us all.
Never give up. Although it's been like everyone says that, but I learned it because we were new in the AP class, and everyone who came in, they kind of left. Who came in the middle, they left early, but we didn't, because he was there to give us hope that we could do it.
If you truly care about what you're working on or what you're doing, that's when you'll do your best.
It was probably to value yourself, more than really anything, and to do a lot of things and be busy, but do things for yourself and not just for the label, for the name, and for other people. Really value yourself and what you're worth and what you do.
That everything means something.
That numbers don't define who you are.
I think it was around the time at the end of, I think, grade 10 AP English, where he told me that, I don't think it's a very good idea for you to continue with the AP program. And that, to me, that really hit me hard, where it's like, he always tells us, we're gonna run like wolves, or you better swim or you'll sink and whatnot. And I didn't really take that to heart, but now looking back, I'm like, especially in the industry I wish to go in, it's sink or swim. And I really took that lesson. I really learned from it, and now I'm definitely trying to swim, even though it's with floaties.
You actually had a lot of life lessons, and since I'm winging this, I don't really remember from the top of my head, but you've taught a lot.
Sounds silly, but probably English. We had a pretty troubled English experience in grade 9. I'm not gonna say anything Latin, but he really taught us how to write essays, paragraphs, read books in a different way. Before I'd always read just books for the plot, but ever since his class, all I've been able to do is look for deeper meanings in books and novels. And I've started to read different kinds of books as well.
Everything is personal. Everything you do has to have a meaning to you, or else you're not going to put 110% into it. So you have to know that this matters, and that you're willing to put in the effort.
I can't say there's only been a single thing that I learned in his class that has made me a better person. I've learned many different things in this class that has given me a lot of strengths but probably the biggest thing was marks don't define you, and to always follow your passion.
I haven't learned one particular thing in his class. I've learned many small and big lessons from him. But I remember one time we were just talking in class and he was just telling us his stories, but he said something and I really liked it, so I wrote it down. And that was, the only thing that hurts you the most in this world is love. So that's one of the things that I will be taking away from him.
Oh gosh, I had tried trouble figuring this one out. Interesting, I guess, because you just never know what you're gonna get with him. I remember our classes in grade 11 where we never really knew what to expect coming into each class. We just kind of went and rolled with whatever he had planned for the day. So there was never really like a boring part in his classes. They were always really interesting.
Tulner, oh gosh. Tulner in one word would be, I want to say different and I want to say odd because you never know what to expect from him.
Generous.
Mad.
Scary.
I think influential would be the word. You've done a lot for a lot of people. You just help everybody out.
It's hard. Probably manic. It's really a lot of up and downs, a lot of like emphasis, and a lot of like holding back. You never know what he's gonna do every class, which makes every class really interesting and not like stationary like every other class was. It's the only class I really looked forward to.
Different.
Intimidating.
I would describe him as a mentor.
Taco. Tulner is eccentric. I would describe him as eccentric because he's one of a kind. He's not your usual average teacher. He has something different to bring to the table, and he always, when you first came into his class, you knew that his class would be different from any other class you would go to at Sisler.
He's real.
Expert, I guess.
Oh man. Captivating.
Cryptic. Strong.
Manly.
I would say fatherly. If I was pushing it, I would say grandfatherly, but you're not that old.
Very father-like, I guess, trying to teach you, making sure that you're on track, maybe yelling at you when you're not on track, but overall it's like caring and looking over everybody in the class.
I would describe him as a mystery. Although like a lot of us are closer to him now, I still think there are things that he hasn't told us yet. There's still a huge part of his life we don't know of. We only know a small portion of it. And plus, he always says he'll never tell us everything. So, I think he's a mystery, always.
If I describe Tulner in one word, it would be the porter. He's the porter to many different things, and he was a porter to our new life, our adult lives.
Majestic, because that's the word that came into my head when I first read this question.
My M for Madly and Mechanicals is Madly Meticulous Mechanicals. Reason being is just, again, like as a generation, we tend to really focus on the small things, which could be good for like math assignments, math tests, and other assignments in other subjects. But I can see how that could also be like unbeneficial to us too, because then I also know as a generation we've sometimes had trouble with things because we began to overthink our assignments. But as long as we find the balance between the good and bad of the word meticulous, I feel like we'll continue on. Just continue. I don't know. Okay, well, yeah, that's my word.
I think my M word would have to be mysterious, because from our class, you never know what to expect from us. You never know when we'll be outgoing, when we're sitting in class just nodding our heads like mechanicals, or whenever we're, as teachers say, the loudest class they've ever had. And especially from Tulner, you never know what to expect from him, so mysterious.
Memorable, because I know that I'm gonna remember you guys for the rest of my life.
It's medial. I was trying to find a word that wasn't like math related, but I ended up with one that is. But it's just, I feel like in most places, like the middle is always part of who I am. Like I'm the middle child, I'm in the middle of like other things, so I felt like that would fit me the most.
I didn't really think about this, sorry. I guess I want to say mercurial. I think it's just because as a generation, he's right. We're really unreliable. We're prone to changing our minds a lot.
Maisie, because there's so many paths set out and I always get confused about which one to choose. So I think there is one certain one that's set out for me and I just have to figure it out.
Misplaced, madly misplaced mechanicals. I feel like, for me personally, I'm never really stable. I'm always changing. I think that's what he kind of like sparked in me. Before that, I thought I was all who I wanted to be and who I was, but he really taught us that like some of us really don't know who we are. And when he said that, and when he taught us more and more, I really learned that like maybe I need to go deeper, and that it sparked a whole like new phase, like changes of phase, until I kind of settled into who I am right now.
Madly magical mechanicals, ooh, because we always seem to pull off all of our assignments the night before they're due.
Meandering. Okay, so meandering, it's usually described or used to describe the path you take. So it's the complete opposite of a straight, direct path. It's sort of twisted, kind of has a few knots here and there, but just like a, I guess, meandering mechanical, there's always a destination. Let's just hope it's good.
My M is manic because the Oxford Dictionary says that it means you're showing like a wild, kind of deranged form of energy, which is what we are when we're very excited and stuff. We're just flat out crazy. Plus, it also means that we're very busy, and all of us as a generation as a whole, we're just everywhere doing everything, and we don't really have time for many things.
Magical? Just because I like magic and cards, for that reason.
So the M for Madly M Mechanicals I would choose is meaningful, because I think as a class we always meant the best in whatever we chose to do, or whenever we want to get together, or whatever we wanted to do for Tulner, we always wanted to do it in a meaningful way, and that's why I felt like everybody always had good intentions for whatever they were doing.
Right now, I don't know. I think I'm gonna change in personality-wise and everything. I'll tell you when I'll go seek it.
Oh, got it. It would be madly minimum mechanicals, because I feel like mostly when we do work, we have an assignment, we just try to do the bare minimum just to hand it in. Like we finish it last second, or we just write if it's needs 2,000 words, we get 2,000 exactly, just to minimum, just to barely hand it in.
Maniacal, because we're crazy in every way, shape, and form.
Didn't have one.
Could I look up M words? Are you filming? My M is mindful because I am aware of a lot of my surroundings.
My M in Madly M Mechanical is Mark, so it's Madly Mark Mechanical, because in class he always told us to make things our own, and I'm like, okay, I'll take that name as my own and putting my name on that name.
I was thinking it over. I couldn't really find a good word, but I picked my favorite word, which is miscellaneous, because one, it sounds like Michelle. Number two, it means a different kinds of things put together. And that's basically our class and all of our strengths and weaknesses. And for me, I have strengths and weaknesses in different areas, so yeah.
I chose melioristic. Melioristic means I believe that humans can help better the world and the human race as well. And I think that's part of my life, because what I want to do in life is to help people by becoming a doctor. I like helping people. And yeah, that doesn't mean I'm perfect. I mean, I hate some people and I argue with people too. But that's just me. But I like to think that, deeper inside, what drives me is that, to help the human race and help the planet is my motivation.
Well, if I was to choose an M for myself, I would probably choose Madly Mortal Mechanical, and I think I don't have to explain that for him. But if I was talking about our group as a whole, I'd probably say motivated. I know that sounds ironic because I do think we are motivated when it comes down to when we want to do things, and we want to do things as a group. We'll go 110% into it. We won't hold back. But then the thing that I feel like is the hardest thing for us to do is to become motivated. Like it's very hard for us to want to do things and want to do things for others. But when we do want to do things, that's when we shine as a group.
Mysterious, madly mysterious mechanicals, because we're always changing, we're always different. Who knows where we'll be or who we'll be with. We're always with different people. We're always changing faces, changing masks. We're just a mysterious class in general. We always change and we'll never be just one thing.
Mavericks, so madly maverick mechanicals.
Hi, Mr. Tulner. So some final words that I have for you. I truly believe that Sister is losing a very valuable staff member, but at the same time, I totally understand how you want to go beyond these brick walls and pass on your talents to other students in the province and the city. We have been very, very lucky to have you as a teacher, and we have learned so much from you, and we are definitely gonna take what we've learned from each and every one of your classes as we go on into our post-secondary ventures. Despite the challenges we faced in grade 11, I could probably speak on behalf of the class by saying we are very lucky to have you as a teacher. Thank you for teaching us that there is more to life than just numbers, and I wish you all the best in the years to come and on your new job. See you!
Thank you for everything that you've done for me, from encouraging me with sports, from asking me how I'm doing, for giving me extensions on papers that I couldn't get done, and just for being there for me throughout high school and being someone that I know I could talk to and depend on. And hopefully that doesn't change as you go to Elmwood and I'm entering university.
Thank you for being one of the best teachers I've ever had. Hopefully we'll see each other again soon. And yeah, thank you.
I don't really have anything final to say because I don't want to think that we're never ever gonna see each other ever again. But I guess what I want to say, like right now, the end of high school, I guess thank you for everything that you've taught us and for everything you've done for the school. There's so much you've done, so much you've taught people that I know that I don't think I'll ever be able to comprehend how much that is. So I guess, yeah, thank you a lot. And I guess I'll see you again someday.
I guess nothing but thanks. I mean, you just taught me so much. I've had the most fun in your class that I've ever had in my whole high school experience. I have a lot to take away from everything that's happened, and you still have to tell us Fargo stories. But yeah, just thanks for everything.
Mr. T, thank you for doing everything that you do. All of the games we've played, all of the assignments we've done, all of the group projects has brought us together as a generation. And yes, we're mechanicals, a little heartless sometimes, a little messed up and scattered, but you made us, I guess, a little more human. So thank you.
Thank you for sparking something in each of us, I think. I know we don't give you enough credit for it. I know we don't take you as seriously, but I think that you don't give you enough credit for what you did, especially for me, because you really made me, like, you really sparked me into like becoming who I am now and who I will become as an adult in terms of my mentality and who what I believe in, and my day-to-day like ways of doing stuff. And like and what I like and what I don't like, really basically everything that I really am right now.
Thanks for everything, Mr. Tulner. I'll miss you the most. I think you were my favorite teacher and my favorite coach by far. You're like the best coach I've ever had. Thanks.
I wouldn't want to say it's my last words, my final words, because it's Mr. T and I know I'll see him everywhere I go. And I think I'll always bring a piece of him with me and everything he's taught. So thank you, Mr. T, for your patience and everything you taught us.
I'd just like to say thank you for that year and a half that you taught me and everyone, not just about the curriculum, but just life itself, and it's really helped me. And I'm gonna take everything that you said through those years with me throughout my life.
Tulner, have fun with the rest of your life. Don't blow out your knees any more than they are. And have fun at Elmwood, buddy. See you around.
Tulner, I hope that wherever and whatever your passion takes you, I hope it takes you to even better places than you were now here teaching us. So thank you.
Hi, Mr. Tulner. I'm gonna miss you a lot, and I hope that we meet again. And I will try my best to come and see you or visit once in a while. Thanks for everything.
I'd like to say thank you for teaching me and being such a great teacher. And I just want you to know that you really helped me grow up, not only as a student, but as a person.
Thank you very much. A lot of times we go through schools and classes and we learn the material to certain degrees and get by, have a good time. But sometimes there are classes and teachers where we remember them, and your class is certainly that one of those classes for me anyways. An impact class, something I'll always remember, not just for what we learned, but in kind of how we learned it, and my approach to school and just everyday life is never going to be the same as it was before. It's going to be better. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
You made me a better person.
Thank you. And this probably won't be the last time you'll see me. I'll see you soon. Bye. So cringy.
Well, Tulner, you came here to teach English and you left with a legacy. And I know you're going to Elmwood and you're going to make a new legacy there. And you're going to shape a curriculum. You're going to teach students that nobody's taught them in Elmwood before. And I wish you all the best of luck, and don't forget what you left behind here at Sisler.
Thank you, Tulner, for everything you've taught me, that you've taught the class. I hope that everything in the future will plan out as you want it to. I hope that we'll meet again one day and we'll be smarter, stronger, and better than before.
Keep soaring like the eagle. Never let anyone bring you down. Thank you very much for all you have taught me and all those amazing classes. I've enjoyed every bit of them. Thank you very much for taking me into the AP program. I'll miss you a lot. Bye.
I just wanted to say thank you, Tulner. You've taught us so many things, and I can't even describe in words how much we appreciate that and all of your hard work. Thank you for teaching me how to run with the wolves or away from the wolves, whatever you prefer. After graduating, I'll get my toys. I'll talk to people, and we'll see. Maybe we'll make a movie. I hope you have a great time at Elmwood, and good luck on your future endeavors.